Good morning, Austin. And we're your happy atheist here. And it's all of us. Welcome to the show. This is July 19th. We are live. That is our telephone number. We'll be taking your calls here shortly. But first off, I'd like to do a few announcements here. It's the Atheist Community of Austin. We do meet every Sunday at the Hot Jumbo Bakery, which is down on West 5th in Lavaca. We go right there right after we leave, after the show here. We're heading that way. And we had our TV committee meeting actually was today. That went on before we got here. Just want to remind everybody on the TV show, the next meeting will be August 16th, 7:30 right here at the TV station. And appreciate all the help of getting out there, getting a crew here. You guys are doing a great job, man. We in this month's newsletter, we sent out a card here to all you about organ donation cards here. Calm down, Ray. We'd love for you all to fill those out and let all your relatives and everybody else know that you're donating your organs. That's one way for an atheist to have life after death there. We really want to contribute all we can to the community and everyone else there. So I guess that's pretty much it on the announcements there. It's going down.
You want to talk about the lecture?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, thanks for reminding me. Yes, we do have our lecture series. Yes, I skipped right over that, didn't I? August 2nd, it'll be our next. It'll be Ed Sharf. We'll be speaking about the Freethinker Monument that they're going to be erecting there in Comfort, Texas. And that's October 4th. And he's going to be coming to our lecture series and be discussing that and the reason for the monument and the free thinkers that were killed there in the 1800s. I thought I had the date there, but when there were the monument is for those people that were actually killed back then. September 6th is Mosh Worship. We'll be speaking about Bibles and the ethics, and the subtitle is "If you think there must be some good in it, get over it." And he's talking about the Bible there, and so I'm really curious. Meeting this John, I talked to him several times on the phone, and definitely looking forward to him coming to the lecture there. And that's at Furs Cafeteria, North Cross Mall. Those are the first Sunday of every month, and it's free and open to the public. And we love meeting everyone there in Austin. So now I guess we'll go to Joe Zamecki here and some articles here.
Yeah, it's just a couple of things in the Austin American Statesman today, in fact, talking about the little situation with Walt Disney and the Disney Corporation. And here's an editorial. I'll just jump right in here. As it drains attention from the many real problems crying out for society's action and energy, the anti-homosexual crusade of 15 conservative religious groups seems absurd, or it would were it not so dangerous. Danger lurks in the group's campaign to cure homosexuals because it only thinly disguises with patronizing protestations of caring an underlying bigotry. Hatred is never more poisonous than when dressed up to look like kindness. A coalition of 15 groups that advocate for right-wing religious ideas, including the Christian Coalition, the Family Research Council, and Focus on the Family, is showing unprecedented unity in this latest folly. The campaign builds on recent remarks by Senator Trent Lott of Mississippi, a Republican. The Senate compared Majority Leader. Lott compared homosexuals to alcoholics, kleptomaniacs, and sex addicts, suggesting that with treatment, homosexuals could recover to heterosexuality. And it goes on, and it also talks about a little connection that there was between that. I'll get back to that later. Okay, there were some good letters, some good letters from regular people like myself. Did you see the one about the guy who slept with his mother and killed his father? Or how about the one where the woman killed her kids to get back at her ex-husband? Oh, but my favorite was the one about the town where the old guy strapped on a wooden and woman danced around naked on a hilltop with a bisexual drag queen. Those aren't Disney movies, they're Greek classics. So for the sake of consistency, while the Board of Education is divesting in Uncle Walt Disney, they better divest themselves of all other art that speaks of fear, rage, confusion, regret, redemption, and the like. That's from a person in Austin, and I'd have to add that the Bible is one of them, and probably should be the first one they divest themselves of, but of course they won't. Here's another one. Thank God those folks at the State Board of Education have saved us all from the evil empire of Disney. But while they are in the mood to protect us from all the filth out there, shouldn't they turn their attention to divesting themselves of the Pfizer stock they own? I think that's how you pronounce it, P-F-I-Z-E-R.
Pfizer, yeah.
After all, Pfizer makes Viagra. Who knows what kind of unholy thoughts might cross through someone's mind while under the influence of this new drug. That's something I haven't heard of them talking about, the connection there with Viagra.
Or the connection with gambling and alcohol and everything else.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Here's another one. Folks like Trent Lott and Ray Reed, that's Ray Reed, right, love to fall back on the Bible made me do it argument to justify their hatred for homosexuals. God says it is an abomination for a man to lie with another man, right there in Leviticus. Thus continued the persecution of homosexuals is not only right, but righteous. Okay, let us concede for a moment that the Bible is the lone arbiter of human morality. Do you like grilled shrimp? Or how about a juicy link of sausage? If so, you are the sort of immoral wretch outlined in Leviticus 11:7-11. Have you ever worn a blended cotton t-shirt? Even worse, have you ever worn it while shaving? The Bible says you're going to burn. Football is a game played by many a good Christian, but they all, if they've read Leviticus, instead of just one passage, if they've read it all, they would realize that they are committing the abomination of touching a pig's carcass, clearly forbidden in 11:8 of Leviticus. I'd be willing to bet that Jesse Helms appeared at some 4th of July picnic this year in a poly linen suit with nary a hair on his chinny chin chin, chomping on an Oscar Mayer wiener. It seems he, along with Trent Lott, myself, and the whole lot of us sinners, are going to be slow roasting for the rest of eternity. Condemnation to the fiery depths may seem like a raw deal, but I, for one, can hardly wait. Think of the perks. Boiled crawfish everywhere.
Yes.
The opportunity to see the Dallas Cowboys and the Village People in a scrimmage love-in. And lots and lots and lots of quality Disney programming. See you in hell. That's just one of them.
I think it's a woman.
Yeah.
Excellent job there on that letter. Yes.
Very nice. From Austin, Texas. There are several more, too, and all on the same side. We wanted to bring that to you because this is something going on and people are talking about it.
Yes.
Thanks.
That was an excellent letter. I always love seeing a little bit of humor in there with a little bit of education there, and she did a fine job. But since, she's a woman there, and we're not sure if she's not an atheist or whatever else, so I don't know if she'd want her name mentioned on our show.
No.
So, but we do appreciate it. I brought in a news article here from Wednesday's paper about toys to T-shirts. Christian market is a big business. It just really struck me here. They had a convention in Dallas of 1,552 exhibitors in 6 acres of convention space, basically showing you all the different products that they're selling out there. They're saying that this is a $2 billion a year in sales from the Christian booksellers. It's amazing there. It goes on to talk about how they employ secular marketing techniques and business savvy. The strong economic ties coupled with more demand has created higher profit margins, with some products selling at almost 3 times their wholesale cost. Just shows how greedy the Christians can really be. But further on in the article there, it goes on to insiders call it holy hardware or Jesus junk. The Reverend Franklin Graham, son of Reverend Billy Graham, calls it garbage. So I think there's a lot of trash that comes out in the name of Jesus Christ, he said Monday. There's big money and big business. Bill Anderson, president of the Colorado-based booksellers organization, said retail sales, which are showing a 13% gain in over the same period last year, are about reaching more people for Jesus. I think greed is really the only thing driving it. It goes on and shows you pictures of the watches and some other stuff.
Watches.
Yes, and the WWJD.
We want Jack Daniels.
We want Jack Daniels, yes.
That's what I thought.
Yes. Shame. So there's just a lot of interesting articles out there, and if you just catch them and all that. I see we got a lot of we got callers on the line already. This is July 19th. We are live. We will be taking phone calls here in just a second, so please hang in there, callers. We want to go into our book review, and this week's guest, David Kent, and you go right ahead. You have the floor.
Okay, this is the book.
Which camera? Sorry.
One.
Okay. You can get a close-up on that.
Wow.
Not too clear. It's called The Devil in Massachusetts by Marion Starkey. And this is an interesting little book. This is all about the Salem witchcraft trials. What do you think of when you somebody mentions those witchcraft trials in Massachusetts?
Right offhand, because I've read a lot about it too, or whatever. But a couple girls started accusing people, and they took their word for it.
Yeah, basically that's it. A bunch of teenage girls decided to get a few people killed. The whole point of that witchcraft trial business in Massachusetts, in Salem in 1692, is this. It shows the danger of anybody relying entirely on one book. These people at that time, many of them, if they were literate, only knew the Bible. The only book they had ever read, or the book that they learned to read from, was the Bible. And these girls weren't just playing games, as they claimed later on. They knew that in Leviticus, let's see, it's Exodus.
Yeah, 22:18.
It says, "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live." They knew that these accusations that they were making against different people in their community were not harmless, and they were dangerous. And so when these girls started this thing in the spring of 1692, they started accusing local people that they did not like. Most of these people were illiterate, defenseless. But as soon as the ministers in Massachusetts found out about it, they were as good as dead. And the difficulty is that they didn't ask for any real evidence. They asked for what they called spectral evidence. In other words, a girl could say, "The shape of this woman came to me in the middle of the night and tried to choke me or pinch me or terrorize me," and what could the accused person say? What could you say if somebody asked,
right,
where was your shape last Thursday night? I mean, there was no defense against it. So once they were accused, they were as good as dead. And I don't want to go into the whole story, but I would like to mention a couple of people involved in it. One was a 71-year-old great-grandmother named Rebecca Nurse. She was, by everybody's account, completely innocent. She had lived a completely blameless life her entire life, raised a large family of children. And when she was accused of witchcraft, she didn't really understand the charge against her. She was hauled into court, and her neighbors were outraged that she was accused of this, and 38 of them signed a petition saying, "Rebecca Nurse's spotless character, our neighbor, we've known her for years, she should be found innocent."
That's a good part of the story. I didn't realize that, because my understanding, people that defended them were actually turned around and accused of being a witch also.
That also happened, yeah. But in her case, she had several neighbors who petitioned for her, as to her character. And the jury actually came in with an innocent verdict against her. And after they had come back with their innocent verdict, her minister, a man named Nicholas Noyes, was outraged, and he said, "How could you call her innocent? Haven't you heard the evidence against her? Go reconsider your evidence." And so the judge ordered them to do that. They went out and came back in and gave the guilty verdict they were required to give. Well, her neighbors then petitioned the governor and said, "This is an innocent woman. She is no more a witch than anything." And the governor heard all the petitions and looked into it to an extent, and he gave her a reprieve from the sentence. And Noyes again was outraged, and he went to the governor, got all of his influential friends, and the governor rescinded his previous order, and she was taken out and hanged on Gallows Hill, along with several other women. This went on, well, it's a whole long story. Rebecca Nurse was hanged. Her two sisters, elderly women, were also hanged. In total, I think there were 19 witches hanged. There never was a witch burning in Massachusetts. People have that idea. There was a lot of witch burning in Europe, but never in New England. But the interesting thing, people have heard of the story of Giles Corey being pressed to death, and that's an interesting aspect of this. Giles Corey's wife, Martha Corey, was accused of being a witch, and she was later hanged. And he saw what was coming, so before he was accused, he went out and wrote his will out, and he devised all of his property. He had quite a lot of land. Gave his property to his sons, and sure enough, he was eventually accused of being a witch. He was a large and simple man, but he was not stupid, and so when he was hauled into court and told to plead either guilty or not guilty, he refused. He knew that the option was, in the phrase of that time, he stood mute. Because he knew that if he pleaded guilty, of course, he would lose his land and property. The colony would confiscate his property. He knew if he pleaded innocent, he would be found guilty, and again, he would lose his property and his family would lose it. He knew that if he stood mute, the colony could not confiscate his property. There was a penalty to standing mute, though, and that was this. He had to undergo a trial by ordeal. And in his case, this was that they took him out and laid him flat on the ground, put a large board over top of him, and started to pile boulders on to force him to plead innocent or guilty. The last recorded words he said before he died were, "Pile on more weight." Yeah. And he willingly allowed himself to be crushed to death so that his sons would inherit his land rather than the colony. That's the story behind the crushing to death of Giles Corey. There were several girls, more and more girls got into this, even a couple of teenage boys got into it. They began, as you might expect, with the local people, and then they started to name more and more influential and wealthy people, and this was their undoing, because they started to name prominent people in Boston, and you just don't do that. They accused John Alden of the Mayflower Aldens and various other people. Finally, some merchant in Boston, who was not as simple as some of these people, sued them in court for slander, these children. And he brought a 1,000-pound suit against them, and that shut them right up. They dropped their accusation against him in a hurry. Other wealthy landowners ran off to New York or Canada. They forfeited their property, but at least they escaped with their lives. The other thing that really put a stop to it was that the children started to visit other towns around outside Salem, and they went to Andover and accused a few people in Andover. These people were tried and hanged as witches. Then they went to Ipswich, and the people in Ipswich were a little more sophisticated. And when the girls started screaming and moaning and claiming they were being pinched and tormented and suffocated by these people in Ipswich, the people in Ipswich just ignored them. And that put a stop. Eventually that put a stop to it. Finally, Governor Phipps said this is ridiculous and put a stop to it because he could see the danger of having more and more influential people accused. So that basically was the end of the witchcraft thing in Massachusetts, but it was basically a slice of right out of Christianity. I want to make one more point to finish this up. Sure. And that is these people attacked witchcraft because they knew witchcraft to be a survival of probably the oldest religion in the Near East, and that was the old fertility religion, the old mother worship of the mother goddess, the old matriarchal religions that were replaced by Judaism and other patriarchal religions. These were the last remnants. They're what is today called Wicca. You can read about them in Margaret Murray's book, The God of the Wishes, or Robert Graves' The White Goddess, or Merlin Stone's When God Was a Woman. They knew who the enemy was. It's an enemy of Christianity, and it does show how really firmly believing Christians whose only book was the Bible went to this horrible, horrible extreme that was only stopped with a great deal of difficulty, and it's why basically Christianity shouldn't be allowed to have political power, because if it's allowed its influence, it doesn't know how to control or check or stop itself.
Good point.
So it's a good book to read. It's a good, thorough study. She documents the story. It's not a superficial treatment.
I appreciate the review. Thank you. You did an excellent job. Okay, this is July 19th. We will be taking your calls. Let's go down the line here to Pete. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you today?
Okay. Excellent.
I am a Catholic, but I support what you do because your beliefs are your beliefs, and that's what people are all about, believing what you want to believe.
Thank you.
But the Christian right, they really anger me.
How's
Because
that?
the Bible is a tool for them to use for hatred. I've read the Bible, and a lot of it is basically be good to people and love your neighbor type stuff. But these people, I hate homosexuals. There's something in the Bible I can find that I can bash them with.
Right.
Homosexuality, I'm heterosexual, but I figure if that's what you want to do, that's fine because it's your life. But them coming out saying, well, we don't support homosexuals, and they're condemned to hell, and lots of the kind of stuff. It's twisted. When that gentleman was killed in Jasper over a hate crime, where were they?
Good point.
When that gentleman in New York was chased out of the highway and killed, where were they? These people use the Bible as a tool for hatred. And that's one thing that, like I said, me being a Catholic, I look at that and I'm like, you're wrong. The Bible is about, you read it and it says, basically be good to your neighbor, love the people that you're with, and accept them for who they are, not for what you want them to be. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you guys are wrong because you don't believe in God. That's your belief. And the Christian right, they're like, well, sin is wrong. Well, why was it you were supporting Jimmy Swaggart when he was out there getting hookers? Why are you out there supporting guys like, Jerry Falwell saying that God was going to kill him if he didn't give him money? Using God as a tool for hatred is not the way life is supposed to be.
Yes, excellent point there.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's just I read things and it angers me because being that I am a Christian too, I'm like, you're supposed to be, one of the Ten Commandments is love thy neighbor. It doesn't say love thy neighbor unless he's a homosexual, unless he's an atheist, or unless he's a Hindu. You love everybody, and that's all there is to it.
Well, I appreciate your call.
Thank you.
Take care. I like seeing people that are more religious, that are religious and still tolerant of our point of view.
Yeah, it's just sad, though, that it's important, I should say. It's important to note the Bible also says the exact opposite of those nice, touchy-feely type of things.
Well,
love your neighbor is something that the Bible contradicts.
Right. You have Jesus Christ saying, I came not to bring peace but a sword.
Yeah. Also, not saying anything was bad or wrong with slavery. That's one thing.
All right, let's go on down to Mary.
Yes.
Good morning.
It's love your neighbor as long as he worships the same deity that you do.
Right. If he doesn't, kill him.
That's right. Kill him. Exactly. No middle ground.
You've read the Bible, I see.
A lot.
Okay.
And I don't give it any time anymore because I've learned that you become and you learn and you grow as according to what you pay attention to.
Right.
And I'm a native Texan. I've been here all my life, I'm sorry to say. I haven't seen very much of anything besides New Orleans and Florida, and that's still the South, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Not much experience. But I grew up as a throwaway kid because my parents rejected me. My lineage is dubious, or it was to them. It isn't to me. It was to them. So they took the choice of rejecting me. But as I grew up, every kid needs a guiding force, okay? Needs guidance. So I had to turn to nature. I'm a natural-born pagan. And it's not about worship, okay? Right. Nature is not about worship. It's about respect. And it's the kind of respect that if you learn to respect her first, you respect everyone else. Up to a point. When they get really ridiculous, I lose my respect. And that's just something that happens to me naturally. But I've learned that what you pay attention to teaches you who you become. And I've learned things like the real purpose of homosexuality, okay? The natural purpose of homosexuality. I bet you've never heard that before, huh?
No, I haven't heard that. You're right.
Okay, well, here it is. Nature didn't intend for us to grow in these numbers. She didn't intend for the world to be this filled up, the population to be this big. That's a response to the Industrial Revolution. Right. This irresponsible constant breeding was to fill up the factories. And people still believe that crap.
Right.
Well, homosexuality is people who are enjoying themselves and forming relationships without making children. And that's really important, you know, because having children in the family is not the human peak experience. If there are people who believe that those are peak experiences, they're never going to know what the real peak experiences are, okay?
Well, enlighten us. What are the real peak experiences?
The real peak experience is that bond with nature, is understanding.
Oh, okay.
That profound understanding that bond with nature provides you with. That's its reward. You know, and there's a limit, you know, because people feel hate naturally. And you hate people that are not good people. And the church doesn't put out good people. Fearful people are not good people, okay? The only way to be a good person is to be fearless. And religion is a fear industry, all right?
Yes, it is.
I mean, that's all. That they make people be good by keeping them fearful. And that's not really a good person, because who knows what those people do when we can't see.
Exactly.
You know, and I've seen the coldness in them. I've experienced the coldness in them. As a throwaway kid, I've had to go to churches for food. And they give you that lecture, and why aren't you a Christian? Because I don't want to be. Because I don't want to bow down to your God, because he's mean. He doesn't love me. He loves you. He gave you all the comforts. He didn't give me squat. So why should I bow down to him? What do I owe him?
Okay. Excellent point there, caller.
Okay, well...
David had something.
This just reminds me of something out of this witchcraft book here. One of the women who was condemned to death on her way to the gallows, her name was Sarah Good. This same Nicholas Noyes, this minister, came up to her and he said, "You know you're a witch, confess you're a witch." And she looked him in the face and she said, "You are a liar. I am no more a witch than you are a wizard." And then she decided, she looked at him, he was one of these fat, glib types, according to the description.
Right.
And she decided to answer him, you know, in the old Greek style, answer a fool in his own conceit. And so what she said to him was, "If you take my life away, God will give you blood to drink." Which, what, you know? And so he took her and had her hanged, and then he stood there and made this remark: "How sad it is to see these 8 firebrands of hell hanging there." Well, a few years later he did die, and he died an excruciatingly painful death because
he well deserved.
He died of massive hemorrhage. He strangled on his own blood, so he had plenty of blood to drink. As
he well deserved.
So what goes around comes around.
Now that's not a Bible prophecy, okay?
And death,
by no stretch.
Right? And death has become my friend, because death and evolution are the things that take these oxygen thieves out. Okay?
They do.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mary. I recognize your voice. I appreciate your call.
Okay, bye-bye.
Take care. Yeah, she's become a regular caller there.
Yeah, I thought it.
Okay, let's go on down to Andrew.
Hey, how's it going?
Excellent.
What's y'all's names?
Ray, Joe, and David.
How's it going, Ray, Joe, and David?
Fine.
Very good.
Yes, I wanted to ask you, what do you think about the New Testament?
What part of it? That's a big statement.
Yeah, it is a big statement. What do you think about the Bible in general?
I think it's so full of contradictions and misinterpretations, and it's the root cause of such degradation and suffering through the ages that we definitely need to get rid of it.
You know what? I'm down with you on that.
You're down with me on that?
Yes,
okay,
definitely.
Thank you.
And I'm also going to say that it's a bunch of brainwashing.
Exactly.
See, that's what I've been saying my whole life.
And
say something to me.
You started to say something about the New Testament. Did you have something in specific you wanted to say about the New Testament?
Not particularly, except that, this whole religion thing is just brainwash. Mm-hmm. They brainwash you to think, oh my God, I've been bad. Oh my God, I'm going to hell, when there actually is no heaven or hell.
All right.
Is that right?
Yes, and then they tell you, not to listen to anyone else but them. They're saying they're the only ones that have the answer, not to go investigate anymore. Right here is all you need. Whereas we're telling that we're learning new things each and every day, that we need to continue to educate ourselves and learn what's going on in the world and how to make this world a better place.
Hold on, real quick. Is that a nose ring? You got a
Yes,
nose
it
ring?
is.
Oh, that's bad as fuck. That's all I
Just
know.
noticed my nose.
yeah.
Yeah, I got that when I moved to Austin. I guess that's standard equipment for Austin. What can I say?
Yeah, actually, I think so.
Okay.
Hey, it looks tight.
Thank you.
What was I gonna say? I just forgot. I lost my train of thought.
Okay.
He's in a good train there, too.
4 beers this morning.
4
I've
beers.
already had about a 12-pack this morning.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, so
And doggone it, there is no...
and it's a Sunday morning, so I was gonna say fuck the Sabbath.
Okay.
Oh, my. Okay.
Because that's my style.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Not that you can say anything you want, and you're not going to offend us, but we do have listeners out there, viewers, that it's Sunday morning and they really don't want to hear us, people cussing there. So you're not going to offend us. You can call up. We got our voicemail number 371-2911. Feel free to call us and cuss to us all you want.
There's a website also.
Go ahead.
Hey, what do you know? www.atheist-community.org.
There it is, our website. The whole point is, what I was going to say was, like I say, you're not offending us. You can say anything you want to us, and you're not going to offend us. We do like to talk to other atheists.
Yeah.
And the other Christians in the group here. In the group. We have no Christians in our group that I know of.
In Austin.
Yes. We are a group of atheists. And like I say, this is July 19th. We will be taking your calls live on the air. We love hearing from everyone there in Austin. We're in the process here of changing out our guest.
Real quick, while we're doing that,
Sure.
I have a segment which stopped for a while, but I'm
Yes.
starting it back up.
Yes.
Okay, this is my famous unsung atheist hero or heroine of the week.
Yes.
And that is where I talk about an atheist who's usually in obscurity now. Most people don't know about them. And to try to educate the public a little bit about some atheists and other free thinkers throughout history who have contributed to society. This week's atheist is Colbert Olson, who was born in 1876 and died in 1962, and was the governor of California from 1939 to 1943. That's right, an atheist governor of California. He was born on November 7, 1876 in Fillmore, Utah. He worked on his family farm and was brought up in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons. Early on in his life, he doubted the claims of the Mormons and concluded that Joseph Smith was an impostor. He got into trouble with his principal of his school for not joining in on the emotional displays of the other children showed during sermons about angels. He was unapologetic. And he attended Brigham Young University and graduated at 19 years old. He then became associate editor of the Daily Ogden Standard. Later he moved to Washington, D.C. and did secretarial work for congressmen. He attended a lecture by Robert Ingersoll, and there he fully realized his atheism. While in Washington, D.C., he graduated from Columbia Law School, and he returned to Utah and was admitted to the Utah Bar. He then formed his own law practice in Salt Lake City. He married Kate Jeremy in 1905, and they had 3 sons. He was elected as a Utah State Senator in 1916 and served as chairman of the Senatorial Judiciary Committee until 1920. Well, there he sponsored acts relating to political reform, education, equitable taxation, social services, and fair legislation regarding labor and industry. There we are. In 1920, he moved to California and became active in the Democratic Party. In 1934, he was elected state senator for the District of Los Angeles. He was elected California governor in 1938 and arranged with the California Supreme Court to be allowed to affirm his oath without the words, "So help me God," when he swore in. As governor, Colbert Olson opposed legislation designed to provide free transportation to students of Catholic schools on public school buses, as well as other state-church separation violations. He also successfully campaigned against the adoption of the phrase, "In God We Trust," as the official motto of California. They were trying to have that made as the motto of California, "In God We Trust." And he successfully challenged it and got it stopped. He became a member of the United Secularists of America in 1957 and was elected president of that organization until his death in 1962 from pneumonia and other health problems. He is remembered as an atheist in public office, advocating strongly the separation of state and church while working to expose the dangers of organized religion and the improper activities of religion and government. And we have a quote. I always try to follow these up with a little bit of a quote from this person. This is Colbert Olson, and his quote is, quote, "Common sense, in the light of all the cumulative scientific knowledge now available, tells us that the idea of the existence of a God concerned in the behavior of the human animal on this tiny planet is a superstitious fallacy," unquote.
Excellent, excellent.
So I will try to revive that and have that every week. That is my atheist unsung hero or heroine of the week, Colbert Olson. Thank you.
So,
Thanks, Joe.
I'm wondering what's the highest office an atheist has ever held.
Good question.
And Governor of California is pretty high.
Well, I understand that there was a president or two of the United States who were almost totally atheist. Grant, Ulysses S. Grant.
Really?
And criticized organized religion and Christianity in general.
Well, I'd like to welcome Don to the show. It's Don Rhoades. He's
Good morning.
co-chairperson of Atheist Community of Austin. And you want to talk about the books, or what do you want?
Well, yes, I've been out beachcombing, and as some of the folks in the group know, beach is BEASH, or books every atheist should have. And I'm going to start off with the controversial one. This one has already come up a few times today. This is a Bible, and I think every atheist should have a Bible. There's a couple of reasons. One is that a lot of the Bible stories are part of our culture.
Right.
You know, we're kind of expected to know about Noah's Ark and Adam and Eve, and around Christmas time you're going to hear some Christian things. So there's a lot of things in here that are part of our culture. Also, this of the books I brought, this one you can get for free.
Yeah.
There are lots of people out there that would be delighted to provide you with this book. Also, the importance of atheism is directly tied to how important theism is. So, for that reason, I think that's another good reason to have a Bible. And every now and then, somebody's going to come up and say, "Well, there must be a God because the Bible says so, and the Bible's true." So, if you're going to get around that, you're going to have to go in here and point to the passage and help them out with that.
I will point out that's the King James version, and
it is the King James version. So to get to any of the real the passages that offend us or that are contradictory or whatever, you're going to have to dig through a whole lot of these and thys and all that. So the next book that I have is kind of they go together. It's called the Bible Handbook. And this one is published by American Atheist Press. And
Hold up. Yeah, it's a good cover.
Yeah, good
It's got
cover.
a picture of the Bible with a tail, a devil's tail. Go down a little bit. There it is. Yeah.
That's a marker.
Isn't that good?
Yes. That's a book.
Okay.
Yes. That's a book
Okay.
marker. Yes.
If somebody says there's no contradictions in the Bible, well, if you don't just really know a whole lot about it, you're going to have to dig a lot to find a contradiction. This is the shortcut. You look in here. Oh, gee, right here. Jesus was the son of Joseph, which was the son of Heli. That's where helium comes from. I don't know. And in another passage it says, "And Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Jesus." So right there, Joseph had two different fathers, depending on where you look. So contradictions. You want your unfulfilled prophecies.
What about obscenities?
We got your obscenities.
Okay. Because that's what I want in a book. Don't forget the obscenities.
One that's real interesting to me that I just can't see how people can ignore is that, in the Old Testament way of thinking, if you how good a prophet was how good he could foretell the future. And we've got, I don't know how many different places where Jesus says, "Verily I say unto you that this generation shall not pass till all these things be done." I mean, it was very clear that he was talking about right now, that it was going to happen right then. And it always makes me wonder if maybe it did happen and all these Christians run around now just they missed it. I don't know. Anyway, these go together good. They're handy to have.
What? Okay, go ahead. We do have some colors here. Oh, is that what you? Oh,
it's my beach bag. Okay, this one we've already covered on here, so I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time on it. But this is Sagan, Demon Haunted World, and this is not an atheist book. This is a book about pseudoscience. It's the other stuff that atheists don't recognize or don't think is true. All the things like ghosts and alien abductions and just the incredible amount of things that people will believe with very little evidence. I mean, it takes very little. And I'm not going to talk about this very much except to say that I found it very interesting that this kind of phenomenon where people have these visions and things of they change from time to time. That in the Victorian age it was ghosts. Everybody saw ghosts. Everybody. And before that it was demons, and now you got your aliens. So it just kind of depending on the popular culture, whatever that image is of that that thing that comes around in the dark, that's what people see. And it seems to be just a normal human phenomenon. Okay, the next one is more of a real atheist book. Probably the most atheist book that I brought today. This is Atheism, the Case Against God. And I sent some emails around and I asked people, tell me your favorite books that atheists should have. This one was mentioned a whole lot, and I'm not gonna talk a whole lot about it except to say that it's very specific. It's very methodical. It's very organized. He goes through and invests a lot of time in just defining what the terms are. What an atheist is, what an agnostic is.
Which we spend a lot of time doing that, don't we?
That's right, and that's right. And his definitions are not necessarily the same as ours. But I think he makes a very good case for what an atheist is, and he breaks atheism down in a couple of different things. And he gives long, very detailed discussions of what the arguments are for and against different kinds of the proofs, the so-called proofs of the existence of God. So this is a book that you should have. You should keep it. You will enjoy being able to refer back to it. The last one I have.
Okay.
Yeah. Good.
This book, I didn't hear a whole lot of discussion about it until I sent out my email and said, what book should every atheist have? And it just amazed me how many people responded with this book. And the reason it amazed me is this book was very influential in my life. I was telling David last week that I still remember it. It's one of those clear pictures in my mind. When I was a young man, I was in high school, and I had just started questioning. It was suddenly okay to question the existence of God, and I'm at a fundraiser, and this book is on the table, and it changed everything in my life. It's not a long book. It is broken up into essays, and it is very, very to the point. It's written in a language that's real easy to understand. Let me give you just a sample. Perhaps the simplest and easiest to understand of the arguments for God is first cause, and he deals with that very abruptly. I'm getting signals to cut this short, so I'm going to do that. But I'm going to run to one of my favorites here.
Thank you.
Okay.
We do have callers. We'll get to them.
Contributions to religious contributions to civilization. My own view on religion is that of Lucretius. I regard it as a disease born of fear and as a source of untold misery to the human race. I cannot, however, deny that it has made some contributions to civilization. It helped in early days to fix the calendar, and it caused Egyptian priests to chronicle eclipses with such care that in time they became able to predict them. These two services I am prepared to acknowledge, but I do not know of any others.
Excellent.
It's very good. Okay, well, I enjoyed that.
Well, thank you, Don. I really appreciate that. And we'll have a bunch of callers here on the line, so we're going to try to go through them as quickly as we can. She's talking to him right now. That light's solid.
Yeah, let's go to 3.
Oh, no, she's putting back on hold. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Tim?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sorry about the wait.
That's all right.
Let's go
I'd like
quickly.
to
We
get
got
down with
several callers.
With the books.
Say again? I'm sorry, I was talking.
No. I'd like to talk to the guy on the right with the books.
Don.
Okay.
And he's here. He's off camera right now, but he's here.
Yeah, I see him.
Okay, go ahead.
You seem to be, apparently you're educated. What do you think about Mormonism? Mormons.
Well, let me put it this way. I've known some Mormons in my life that I like a whole lot.
Well, see, I've got a lot of Mormons that are good friends of mine, but cult.
Well, that's the thing about Mormonism. I certainly can't say that I think it's true. I don't. I do not.
Well, how are you a religion just founded by a guy named John? Hey, I'm going to pick up a religion. My name's John Smith.
You're right. Exactly.
What kind of shit is this?
Okay, now.
Yeah. Essentially, I think that's pretty much exactly what happened.
Yeah, and then what about Christianity? The Bible?
Well,
it seems to be a bunch of people that just wrote a whole bunch of stories like Homer did the Iliad and the Odyssey, correct?
Exactly. And then put it all together and say it's divinely inspired.
And say, hey, you do this, you go to hell, which doesn't exist. You do this, you go to heaven, which doesn't exist. Right?
Right. We don't agree. We think it's total fallacy. The book, the whole idea behind the Bible and everything else. Quickly, you got any of the points? I got several callers to make here.
Yeah, I've got one more thing to say.
Sure. We're listening.
Yes. How do you starve a nigger?
Well, obviously it was not one of us.
Yep.
All right, let's go on down to caller 3.
Yes.
I hit air.
Yeah, you did. Oops, something happened.
No, I hit air.
Maybe they
hung up.
All right, let's go for it.
I'm sorry, Mark, on line 3. I don't know what happened to you. I hit the right button. Let's go on down to...
1.
Good morning. Kim?
Hi, yeah, this is Kim.
Hi.
Hey, I have a question for you. You guys were just talking about, there was a book that Don held up, I don't remember what it was, but Ghosts, Demons, and Aliens.
Demon-haunted world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You don't believe that there could be the existence of life on another planet, in another universe, in another solar system?
No, we totally that is quite within the possibility of our present-day knowledge of science and everything else. Now, whether or not they come here to this planet is a whole nother story. I don't think there's any proof. We have no physical proof of any alien ever being here.
Okay. I thought, well, wait a minute. I'm sure you guys believe that there's aliens, that it's possible. I guess I didn't hear quite what you were saying.
Sure.
And as far as proof about aliens ever being here, I mean, I've never been abducted. I don't know if they've been here, but, I've seen stuff on TV where they talk about the pyramids in Egypt and some other phenomenal type things that have happened around the world. Any thoughts on that? Like, could that possibly have been done by aliens?
My own personal belief is no, and I've read a lot about the pyramids, and there's so many different theories involved in the pyramid that you could say just about anything you want, and there'd be an expert out there that would agree with you.
Yeah, well, I think you could say that the other side. You could say anything you want, and you can have an expert on either side that would disagree or agree. So
exactly.
I guess it's your own personal theory, but okay, that was my question.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your call.
Kim.
All right.
Line 4, Edward.
Hi, how you doing?
Excellent.
I was listening to what the lady was saying earlier about aliens, so that clarified a lot of the questions I had for you.
All right.
What do you think about, you say there's not really proof in alien existence. What do you think about the cave pictures that have been around of pictures of aliens, writing in the Egyptian mythology of aliens, Roman mythology of aliens?
And there's people out there that'll say that the Bible talks of aliens too.
Well, that is true. There's 14th century paintings of Jesus being crucified with aliens looking out.
You saw the same show I did on TLC then.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw that show too.
Yeah. I agree with you. A lot of things I don't agree in the Bible. I think it's a fairy tale. Because if people actually sit down and think about how the Bible was written, how many times it was rewritten by many different people, I think it was just used to calm the masses, or it was used as a political tool
Exactly.
to conform the people that were being overthrown. The Spanish used it when they came over when they conquered the Aztecs. I don't believe. Perfect example. I mean, one of the commandments is don't have a graven image. But what do you think the cross is?
Yeah, that they wear every.
Exactly. I mean, if there is an image in the Bible that is graven, it would be the cross.
That's pretty graven to me.
Here, when people go into church, they kneel down. They look up at the cross and they're praying to it. So I mean, that doesn't really necessarily suit with me. Nor how many times do you see people say pray to Jesus? Shouldn't it be, if you're going to be a Christian, to pray to God, not Jesus?
Interesting point. Yes, I don't think I've heard anybody talk about praying to Jesus, but I guess there's people out there that are. There's people out there that are praying to Mother Mary too.
Exactly. That's the same way. You're praying to different saints, not God Himself. I believe in the Bible it reads, "Do not follow me because of what I believe. Follow me because of what my Father believes." So Jesus Himself said, "Don't pray to me, pray to God." But then we have so many sayings involving Jesus Christ, save me, or this or that, that we totally ignore what the Bible says. People take parts of the Bible that suits their philosophy.
Exactly.
Okay, I appreciate it.
You take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
The caller made some interesting points. I mean, I'll leave who people pray to them that want to pray, but I'm reading a book now by Dan Barker that his point of view is that, or what he says is that the cross is not actually in the Bible. That's a mistranslation. That it's more like a stake or a pole or something like that. That is an embarrassing mistranslation that's gone on for a long time. But that's a book review we'll save for later on.
Thank you. Let's go on down to Chris.
Yeah, hi. I was just came in on the last part of your show, so I don't know if you guys covered it or not. But
sure.
I was interested in some of the books that you had brought up, and I was wondering if what your views were on Campbell's work, Joseph Campbell's work. And I guess also another primer to a lot of those would be Thomas Paine's The Age of Reason.
Right.
Both of those I got responses on were from atheists, that those were books that every atheist should have.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
And the Campbell work was Golden Bough, is that right?
No, that was, and I should know this because I was comparative mythology in college. Golden Bough was another guy.
Which one was the Campbell? I remember.
Campbell did Power of Myth.
Power of Myth, okay.
That was like the primer to all of his earlier works, though.
Okay.
I've heard of that one. I hadn't had a chance to read that one, but I've heard of that one.
Yeah, that was Bill Moyers, and he has actually a really good series in which he and Campbell on PBS, go over. Basically what he's talking about is his work is based on Jung's archetypes, but then he develops them a little further with regards to the conflict between your mind and your organs, your lower nature and your higher nature, and that all religion derives out of that, as opposed to, like, say, Terence McKenna, where it's drug-based, but that helps, I guess. So,
and we had several responses on The Age of Reason. That's not one that I have read, but I've certainly heard about it. Tom Paine played a huge role in the American Revolution. Yeah, and his thinking was very well known and persuasive.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend The Age of Reason and The Power of Myth. If you haven't read them already, but I just wanted to touch bases with you and see if you had mentioned that prior to my tuning in. So
I appreciate that.
All right, thank you very much.
You have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Excellent contribution there with some more authors and books there. Let's go on down to James.
Yes, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, James.
I don't know, I'm sitting here watching you guys' show, and I don't know, I'm kind of confused because it seems like I don't know, atheism doesn't give you a point of a really good standpoint to give out anything. What I'm talking about is what keeps you morally. What keeps you guys cool with each other? You know what I'm saying? What keeps you from being? What makes you friendly with this guy sitting next to you? Or keeps you from stealing from the other guy sitting next to you.
It ain't easy. I'm sorry.
You know, it's so morality. It's morality is what I'm talking about.
Okay, that's a real common question. We get that a lot, and we don't. It's hard for us to understand why religious people make this connection that you have to be religious to be moral.
Let me give it to you like this, Dan.
Sure.
You get moral guidelines. It's all about where you come from. It's where your upbringing. I mean, morally, I might think this is wrong, and you might think this is right. Right?
So you're
it's a viewpoint. It's different. Moral.
So you're saying that how you were raised has a lot to do with it.
It does.
I would certainly agree with that.
Has a lot to do with what you got coming. I mean,
also, let me point out to caller too that there's a lot of evidence there to prove that morality is an evolutionary trait, because people that are moral survive better in the group, and so it came through an evolutionary process to it's just part of our nature.
Yeah.
Why is that though? Look, hold on. If it's part of our nature to be moral,
yes,
that comes from somewhere.
What he means is that humans are social animals. In other words, throughout millions of years of evolution, we've come to have these ideals like treat your family right and protect yourself.
No, we have not, because there you go to some tribes or something, they don't have the word like we or us. And to us, it's morally right for me to say this is mine, and you say that's cool, that's yours. I mean, so it's not that we are. I mean, that it's an inbred thing. I mean, it is and it isn't. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we get our morals from the same place most people get them, from our parents and teachers and friends and family.
And the end game of it all is that we have to have something to answer to. You know what I'm saying? That's one reason why we feel morals, and that's one reason why we have them. There has to be a consequence. There has to be something that keeps us all in line. Now, if I say to myself, hold on, if I say to myself that, you know, there is no supreme anything out there, that everything that we do is judgment on us now. We're all part of the universe. The universe self-destructs and destroys everything it creates, right?
Hey, I'm really sorry. I'm down.
Oh, yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Maybe I took too long.
Please call back next week.
Yeah.
We'd love to, because morality is going to be one of our topics coming up here, so I don't know if it'll be next week. Okay, quick. We lost you earlier.
Yeah, this is Michelle.
Okay, quickly. We're down to a minute.
Yeah, I came in a little bit late. I saw y'all for the first time last week, and you were talking about a meeting the first Sunday.
Yes.
What time is that?
11 a.m. At Furs at North
Cafeteria, North Cross Mall.
Okay. And Ed Sharp will be in the lecture series. We also meet every Sunday at the Hot Jumbo Bakery once we leave here.
At which bakery?
Hot Jumbo Bakery at 5th and Lavaca.
Yeah, it's West 5th.
You're more welcome at like 10:30 to 12. It's a informal meeting. We just, it's a
We just sit around and eat bagels and laugh about religion. It's real casual.
Yeah, I'm still chuckling about that bumper sticker last week myself.
Oh, you like that?
That was a good one.
Which one?
We have more.
Oh, no, the co-pilot one?
Oh, yeah. That's a winner.
And I just wanted to commend you guys for your patience for fending off all these phone calls.
It's fine.
I appreciate your call.
Okay,
you have a great day now.
Thanks.
Okay, I don't know.
We don't have. No.
I don't think we have time there. The callers that are on the line there, please call back next week. We're live every Sunday, 9 a.m., channel 16. Chuck, Kim, let's see the list here.
Thanks for calling.
Let's see the list. Let me read the list.
He ain't paying attention.
It looks like Rob. The three of you, I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to get to you. Please call back next week or call our voicemail, 371-2911. We love you, Austin. All the Christians, Mormons,
come on now.
Satanists.
You do that every week, I swear.
Yes.
My mom says when she demanded organized school prayers, this isn't what she intended. Well, don't think that's going to get you out of handling the goat entrails. That's a little comment I have.